Well, your Friday nights are about to get slightly different. This is the Syco-list. Let's get on with it. So welcome along then to something slightly different. I said it in the intro, your Friday nights are about to be slightly different. I'm not lying on that score. Welcome Sixers. This is the Flamme Rouge Racing Super 6. So then Super 6 by Flamme Rouge Racing is a multi-stage race series which is going to span from October through to about April time. You're asking me lots of questions about it and I'm going to try and answer them for you now. So what is Super 6? So then Super 6 is going to have two conferences, basically Europe and America and the outer lying areas, just to make it easy for myself. And then you're going to have leagues in each of those regions split into multiple divisions. That's the basic setup of it. So each team will be allocated a division in their region, to make it simple. So then each team is made up of 5 riders. You'll have 2 sprinters, says it in the tin. They'll compete for the sprint segments. You'll have 2 allocated climbers. They'll compete for the com segments. And then you'll have 1 general classification rider. And also there will be wildcard segments as well. I'll go on to them in a little bit more detail later. So you're probably wondering why it's Super 6 when there's only 5 riders. The 6th element is the wildcard element. That is something that's allocated in each race to a specific rider or rider category for them to compete for. So it will change week in, week out. Be mindful to look out for that wildcard option. Also as well, it is a points-based race system. So obviously riders competing will get their finishing points, so finish as high as you possibly can. But also in segments, you'll get points for the segments in your category. So climbers attacking those com segments, sprinters attacking those sprint segment, and then obviously the wild card as well. More details about the points and that can be found on the website of Flamme Rouge Racing. The link will be in the description below this video. Obviously all the rules, terms and everything like that will be available on that website. Okay then, enough of that detail. Let's talk about race 1 then. Royal Pump Room 8 is the circuit in Yorkshire for race 1. Not going to be fun, I'll tell you that now. There's lots of climbing and there's not a lot of flat sections, so just bear that in mind. So then let's have a look at the details of Royal Pump Room 8. It's going to be 1 lap of that circuit with a custom finish at 29 kilometres, and the elevation gain is going to be 547 metres of elevation. So it's not for the faint-hearted, this one. The sprint segments are in play, which are going to be the Yorkshire sprint forward and reverse, and the climb, the com in contention for the climbers out there is the Yorkshire com forward and reverse. More details are on screen for you now. But yeah, 2 sprint segments for those sprinters, 2 climbing segments for those climbers, and the GC rider, hold on for that finish in place and look out for the wild card on this one. So then, be mindful to allocate your wild card rider as well. So race 1, the segment is going to be the Yorkshire forward sprint. And to earn yourself and team an extra league point, you need to finish in the top 10 first across the line as the wild card rider. So bear that one in mind when you're taking out on the circuit. So then I don't have to worry about power-ups because, as we know, FRR don't do power-ups in their races, which makes it easy for me. It's a level playing field for everyone. Just your pure watts is going to be what takes you around this course. But bike choice, again, has been taken away from me, as FRR give us all the same bike. The only option you've got out there is to look at your wheel option. And your wheel option for this one depends on what your racing category is. If you're a climber, you might want to look for some lightweight racing wheels, but being mindful that those lightweight wheels on the climbs might not help you stay in contention on the descents. Sprinters, you might be looking for some aero wheels, so the disc wheels or the MVs. But again, you need to be mindful, you need to still make those climbs as well. So there's a few factors on wheels to consider. Like I say, bike and power-ups have been taken away from you, but it's all down to your wheel selection. What I'd recommend probably would be is some of the MV wheel sets are probably going to be the best on this race series for race 1. So bear that in mind when you're looking at what options are out there for you. The DT Swiss 65 wheel set is probably an option for the sprinters, or the MV SES 5.1 Pros. Looking at climber wheels, you've got the lightweight Millersteins or the Royal Alpinist CLX. But again, it all depends. You could go for the MV SES 5.1 Pros as well, or even the Zip 454s. But it depends on your weight and riding category, etc., for you to have a look at your wheel options. There's just a few recommendations for you there. So there you go then, that's a quick overview of the Super 6 for you. Don't forget, Recon notes will be down in the description below, and the full details of Flamme Rouge Racing Super 6 website link will be in that description as well. Well, anyway, it's enough of me talking. It's time to head over to the Recon.
So here we go then, we're going to start out the Yorkshire race pens and head left into downtown Yorkshire. This is probably the flattest part of the section of the course, but just bear in mind that there's going to be plenty of hills, rollers and comms out there for you to contend with. So the first sprint on this one is going to come at the 2.2 kilometre mark. It's quite an interesting sprint segment. It's the Yorkshire Sprint Reverse. It's a 400 metre uphill sprint at 2.4% gradient. The first 200 metres are okay, but the second 200 metres ramp up to around about 5% before that sprint banner. So just bear that in mind as we start the segment here. And there's the finishing banner ahead of us. So there will be a short descent now, which will give those sprinters a chance to recover and get back within the pack and get themselves ready for their second sprint segment as we move on through this race. So there's no doubt that if you've blinked, you've missed that descent. Before we hit this pinch at about 10% at 3.8 kilometers, which will lead us then into a false flat at 2.3% gradient to lead us up over the top of this one. So riders, get ready, because at the 4.7 kilometre mark we're going to take a right hand turn and head onto the Botley Road climb. The longest climb on the route at 1.64 kilometres in length, and the average gradient on this one is 3.4%. So this one could break up this race a little bit, and it's not even a segment. So we finished the Otley climb at around 6.4 kilometres, and then we get a great bit of descending down to roughly the 7.1 kilometre mark, where we'll hit a false flat in theory at 2%, which will lead us into a flatter section for a little while. Make the most of these flat sections as we head out. A little rise here at 8.5 kilometres, but then back onto some flatter roads for a little bit. Try and get your recovery in where you can, make the most of the areas where you can descend, and stick in those wheels as best you can. So in my opinion, from doing the recon of this video, I actually think the second half of this race is probably going to be harder, as you're going to have 3 segments in contention in the second half of this race. So just bear that in mind. The first climbers segment is going to come in at the Yorkshire Com, which is going to be around the 12 kilometre mark. And that's going to be a 1.2 kilometre long climb at 5.5% in gradient. So just bear that in mind as we head out now to start that com at 12 kilometers in this race. As you're pushing on those pedals, you will get a slight respite at 12.6 kilometers, allowing for you to recover slightly, but then it will continue to ramp up again to the 13.2 kilometer mark to finish this comm segment. So there you go, the banner's in sight. Push on, get those points for your team with that first climber segment out the way. Descend in here for a little while and then get ready for the final two segments. So making the most of this descent before we take this turn here onto the Cornwall Road climb, which is going to lead us up to the next sprint segment. So just bear in mind, don't attack this too hard because you have got the Yorkshire sprint to come up just around this corner here. It's going to come in at 15.2 kilometers and lead us to the banner at 15.5 kilometers. Short sprint segment, but it does come after that little climb and ramp up that Cornwall Road climb. Staying in this one then, slight descent out of here. So it's now time to prepare your climbers as we move up here to the next climbers segment, which is the Yorkshire Comm Reverse. This is a 1.16 kilometer climb, averaging around 4.1% in gradient. This one pushes on and takes us up to 18.7 kilometers. See it in the heads up display, push on and get through that race banner. Get yourself those points as a climber on this comm segment and then push on over that banner down through the descent. Well, we've completed that segment. It's not all over yet though. There's still some work to be done on this one. As we push out through here, everyone's thinking that there's 8 kilometers to go or just under, but we've still got the Bots Bank to consider, and that begins at the 22.3 kilometer mark and averages an eye-watering 7.7% for over 750 meters, reaching 14% at one point. So just bear that in mind as you push on over these segments. Yes, your finishing points are up for contention, but you have got a big climb on Bots Bank to do at 22.3 kilometers. I did warn you about this one, the heads up display has lit up for you. This is Bots Bank. It's going to be a brutal one, 7.7% average gradient, and like I said, it does reach 14% just around this bit here, as you can see on screen now. But it will begin to flatten out at 22.9 kilometers, just for a short while anyway, before it then finishes us off and leads us up to the finishing point at 23.1 kilometers. Make the most of this descent because there is one punchy bit still to come, which will come at about 24.9 kilometers. It's going to be about 500 meters for you to punch on, and then after that downhill really to the finish line. So you just need to make the most of the chances to recover where you can. Punch over this little one here, 24.9 kilometers. Comes in on those tired legs. You've got to push hard through this one, make the best you can of your finishing place, draft where you can, hold those wheels and then push on for the descent. I've got it as 2 kilometers left to go, as the route of one lap of this route is 27.8 kilometers in total. But as you push on down through here, it is downhill with a little flat section to finish. So I have the finish line here at 27.5 kilometers.
So there you go then, the Royal Pump Room 8 Recon video for you. Obviously, there's a lot of new rules to get used to and have to come off the back of the WTRL Zwift Racing League Series Recon videos. I've got to get my head around this a little bit, so I start racing it on Friday as well. Hopefully be able to bring you the live streams of me racing this also. But yeah, it's a new one to get used to. It's a Super 6 from Flamme Rouge Racing. 2 riders allocated as sprinters, 2 riders allocated as climbers, 1 GC rider, and then you allocate your wild card to 1 rider as well. So bear that in mind, think about your team tactics, get your team ready for this one. Definitely going to be an interesting series over the winter here in the UK and across the world. Obviously, you get allocated your divisions once everything has been set up, but ready for a Friday night full of fun. Don't forget to join FRR Super 6. If you are liking the videos and the content, then please do click that like button, click that subscribe button. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.